Okay, hello everybody. Today's date is, I think it's the 16th of July 2022, and my name is Leslie Williams. Hold on. I know, hold on a second. Oh, excuse me. I just got done eating, so please bear with me, and I apologize for the interruptions. Okay, so, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to, well, first thing I'm going to do is talk really fast. Hold on one second. I don't know what it is, but every single time that I go to make a video, I literally start burping. And that is, I know that sounds weird, but it's true, literally. So I apologize ahead of time for current and future burps. Do not walk away from this video, please. Trust me on that. Do not walk away from this video. Because what I'm going to do in this particular video is I'm going to share with you some information. And then, as long as the demonic rats who are hosting the extreme criminal expedition that I endure on a daily basis, including when I'm sleeping, literally, go to Google and type in, add Google, directed energy weapons, electromagnetic weapons, torture and gang stalking, because these little sick satanic rats will wait until you fall asleep so they can literally attack any and all parts of your body with radiation while you're in a stationary position. And since you're asleep, it's obvious that you're not going to be able to then use your language area of the brain to say, hey, look, something's going on here. I better get up and leave. Okay. So, targeting a gang stalking victim with these types of weapons and others while the victim is sleeping is already a well-established and massively exposed thing that this crime does. I endured it last night. I've endured it on hundreds of other nights, and I ain't afraid to say it either. Gang stalking, one of the main things that these demonic, filthy, vile, criminally insane whores who are hosting this crime, one of the biggest things that they depend on to silence a victim, to intimidate a victim, and to intimidate and silence a victim out of activism and maybe out of certain choices that they would regularly make when they would be faced with this crime without the intimidation through retaliation, would be to censor the victim. Let me backtrack because I kind of lost my train of thought there, but bear with me. These wild whores know that what you know about this crime. So therefore, they know you've seen the hundreds and hundreds of posts over the years because they watch everything you do online because they literally believe they got the right to do so. I mean, we're dealing with satanic little maggots, and these little filthy animals don't give two shits about your rights or you. So if you think that they care about what you think about them monitoring your cyber activity and much more concerning your online activities, well, think again, because they just don't care at all. They're wild, criminally insane animals, and it's all they'll ever be. Case in point, consider. They know what you know concerning what you write online. So they know that if you go to a hospital, and by the way, I have never done this, okay? If you go to a hospital and say, hey, look, as I was walking up the road, my brain got hit with direct energy weapons. As I was at the bus stop, my throat got hit. As I was sitting in a coffee shop, my abdomen and my kidneys got hit continually, okay, practically for the entire time while I was there, or periodically, or both. They know you're not going to go to a hospital or the police and say this kind of stuff because they know through your extensive long-term research what has happened to other victims when they have done these types of things. And make no mistake about it, when you do real thorough investigative research concerning this demonic criminal reality, let me tell you something about these wild whores. These whores want to set up victims so bad they're salivating for it like a rabid dog every day, okay? And the motives for that are many. So it's even reported that these same sadistic rats will literally use voice to skull with voice morphing on the victim to put the idea in the victim's head in their own voice print, transferring voice to skull, pre-structured sentences, proceed by the victim, once these just bear with me. Okay, so what's additionally reported is that they will literally compose structured sentences. That where the sentences, if you were to read them, you could easily see how this type of structured dialogue could be mistaken for a thought if that structured sentence was heard by you in your own audio cortex, in your own voice print, the sound of your own voice. Therefore, then, when they do that to a victim, they're going to believe that it is their own thought and more than likely act on it, especially if the victim is not aware that going to a hospital, going to the police, even just when the police are in your presence for whatever reason, including staged events, including also in courts, they will literally put the idea in your head to talk about these weapons, including by making the statement that you're being hit with them. Why? Because remember, something like that is being done intentionally to get you to talk about it. Why? Okay, so they can claim you're mentally ill and lock you up. Well, that's intimidation. Okay, that's intimidation when you can, when you get on the internet, when you're a gang stalking victim, and you get on the internet over the years, and you see hundreds and hundreds of different targets in their online exposures state that they are widely aware that either through their experience or what they have witnessed from other victims and or activists and or scientists and doctors who also have a vast amount of knowledge, and that includes the testimony of thousands of other people who are targeted, that this crime will absolutely, claim you're mentally ill when you complain about any aspect of gang stalking, especially the weapons, because these wild vile whores who are hosting this crime, they know they're torturing you, and they know they're torturing you to death. So they know then that they are engaging in attempted murder, torture, sadistic torture. And so then therefore you are a live, walking, talking, factual testimony to their extreme crimes. Now, do you honestly believe that when this program of gang stalking does these types of things, do you honestly believe that they would not employ other aspects that are already part of the program? That being labeling the victim as being mentally ill so they can lock you up, literally lock you up in an institution, a psychiatric floor, and then make money off you through the insurance fraud schemes, because the crime will absolutely continue in group homes, psychiatric floors, jails, and they got doctors on their chain everywhere, no joke. Jails, through the courts, jails, through the police, hospitals, medical clinics, medical centers, and even private practitioners can be brought in. You got to understand, we are literally dealing with the most satanic, demonic, organized crime group that has ever existed on this planet. And that's a very large statement when you look at the history of the human race and their extreme human rights violations against other aspects of the human race. That's an extremely large statement, but it is definitely right on mark. Okay, so, when we're dealing with a crime that says to itself and that literally acts upon what it thinks and believes, where they say to themselves, we will do anything we want to anybody we want for as long as we want and walk away scot-free, that is literally their pathology on a daily basis against hundreds of thousands of victims. Now, anybody with 2 brain cells would know that anybody that would commit extreme, horrific human rights abuses, especially in the manner that they do, against 2 people more than once, like maybe 10 times, if the American public at large was to discover what was factually done within what was done, to these 2 people for 10 days, they would be screaming in the street. And this is no exaggeration. If the American public even knew 0.01% of what 5 gang stalking victims endure in 1 week, they would literally want to get off their chair and instantly riot. And that is no joke. And we're talking about the most conservative Americans would absolutely want to do that. I'm not talking about like the Black Lives Matter protest and people running riot in the streets, engaging in all forms of different criminalities because they feel justifiably or unjustifiably subjugated. I'm talking about your average person, when if they were to able to literally sit back and see the depth and measure, of the absolute, thorough, pure, sadistic, sadist, a complete measure of the sadism that is perpetrated through this crime, they would instantly, jump off their chair and go riot in the street. No joke. In fact, check this out. I even heard one interview one time through, I believe it was Derek Robertson, who used to be the president of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, and I think he's still loosely connected to PAX International, and I have no affiliation with them, but I heard him one time say in an interview that some I think it was ex-SEAL members had found out about some of these wild animals who were in a specific community, and through their military recon, okay, expertise, the expertise that they had obtained through their training, they were able to track down some of these wild horses, and they literally beat them to death. No kidding. They literally beat them to death. So, this crime thrives and survives continually, daily, every day. Okay, every day. No matter what day you see this video on, 10 years from now, these wild horrors will still be doing what they're doing, and it will be done on a more escalated scale between today's day and that day, because they're continually picking more victims every day on top of the victims that they already have isolated in this crime, who will then continually still be isolated in this crime 10 years from now if they're not already dead. So I'm here to tell you, my fellow American citizens, you better research gang stalking. You better research it now. So check this out. This right here is the main theme. What I'm about ready to say is about the main theme and subject matter of this particular video exposure. And so you got to listen very carefully. And I'm literally going to give you 1 minute to get up and go get a pen and piece of paper. Just do it. And you're not going to miss really anything I say while you're up. So get up and go get it right now. And I'm going to give you 60 seconds to do so. So, my fellow American citizens, during that 60 seconds, I'm just going to basically tell you just a couple fast things that are, you should know, but, because I'm going to make a statement once these people come back that you should rewatch this video. I live in San Diego, California, which is located in the United States. Gang stalking victims this crime is worldwide. So there's this crime is going on in many, 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 many countries. Oh, absolutely. And it's being perpetrated in the same exact identical way that it's perpetrated in the United States. So that right there should tell you that somebody is sharing something with somebody, okay? And it's protected in every country. Now, there's about 20 seconds left of that 1 minute, so if you give me just 1 second here to do something, and then I'll segue back into my statements. All right, so that's about a good minute. So what I'm going to do, when you hear me describe the following, and I am going to have to talk fast because I already spent about, 13 minutes on what I've already said? I don't have my glasses on. It's roughly almost 13 minutes. So I want to talk real fast when it comes to the remaining amount of this video. Okay, I might make a second video about concerning this subject matter. I don't know when it will be, so if you don't see it for a while, then, you can just still go back and watch this video more than once. Okay, and then do research and take notes when you watch it, and then research the descriptions and the terms that I state. And baby cakes and munchkin butts, I literally guarantee you that you will be glad you did. Now, so one of the biggest things that are going on in gang stalking crimes, it's called color coding. Color coding is directly connected to the sensitization method of gang stalking. And when you do your preliminary research related to these terms, you're going to obviously agree that it's occurring because there's tens of thousands of posts concerning it. It's one of the biggest things going on in gang stalking crimes. Now, when you get online and you research the sensitization method of gang stalking and color coding, you're going to be presented with tens of thousands of posts and YouTube videos and Facebook posts and so on. And so then your brain is going to immediately say it's obvious it's going on, because there's no way all these different Americans, and by the way, the targets in other countries are doing the same thing. There's no way that all these different Americans, 99.9% of them, have never talked to each other and never will. Yet they're all sharing the same color coding that they're enduring through the community-based harassment connected to gang stalking crimes. That particular technique is related to the sensitization method of gang stalking. So you might say to yourself, okay, my brain is indisputably concluding that it's occurring. It's a mathematical absolute that it's occurring. Absolutely. Just by and through what I've already stated. Okay, and for many other reasons, it's a mathematical absolute. So it can never be honestly denied by anybody. Okay? Now, check this out. So then you can also interject in your deliberations. Consider this. Why would a government create a program, even though it's a huge program and there's much involved in it, but when it comes to this aspect of it, why would a program created by the government, completely protected, prop these types of things up around and even at a lot of times directly towards hundreds of thousands of gang stalking victims? Tens of thousands of those victims are online reporting it daily. So Can you think of any other crime that you have become aware of that is a crime since, let's just say, since your teenage years up until the point of where you're at now, concerning, how old you are? Have you ever heard of a bank robber giving two craps about what he wears when he goes to rob a bank outside of maybe a ski mask? Okay? Have you ever heard of a home burglar giving two craps about what he wears concerning color coding? Okay, concerning what he's going to wear when he goes to rob the house. At the very most, he'll probably consider wearing very dark attire. But he's not going to worry about wearing a red shirt, okay, and blue pants, or a pink shirt and blue pants, or a black shirt and white pants, okay? So I think what you're starting to sniff here is that no other crime does this except for gang stalking crimes. So you might think to yourself, okay, well, it's a clever way to make a person feel and know that they're being stalked because of how much and how often we see it. Yeah, that is part of it, because they need to excite that thinking response and emotional response when you witness it as often as we do. So it is literally a form of harassment that then excites thinking responses and induces emotional responses. That's done for the sake of remote neural monitoring, brain choreographing, and brain entrainment, visual brain entrainment. Okay? But how can you have visual brain entrainment to begin with? Well, when we look at how our eyes process information, and this is extremely easy to research, okay? A person, and I'm not saying this to try and imply anybody, okay, is not smart enough to understand it. I'm saying the following in the way that I'm saying it is because when you research what I state, you're going to witness yourself that it's extremely easy to understand. The key, though, is to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to take this extra hour today, and then next weekend, when I got an extra hour and a half, I'm going to continue that research, and then maybe 2 days later, go over what you've already researched in that 2.5 hours, and then doing maybe another hour of research, and your mind will interlock the data, and you'll see it. And it's in what I'm about ready to state is exposed online in extremely layman's terms. A sixth grader can understand it. And I'm only saying that in that way because when you hear what I got to say, you might initially say, this sounds too complicated for me to understand. It's not at all. So consider this. Hold on. When you go out and about in your community, all right, even if you just sit in your backyard, but let's imagine you going out and about in the community. Say you get up on a Saturday morning. You say, okay, I got to go to the bank, then I got to go to the post office, and then I'm going to go to a restaurant, and then I'm going to go to a coffee shop and get some coffee and sit outside and drink the coffee. Then I'm going to go to a restaurant, and then I'm going to maybe go for go home and then go for a bike ride. Now, let's imagine on this day you do these things, it's very sunny out. Yeah. So imagine you being a gang stalking victim when you're doing these things, okay, on a sunny day, and then when you do these things, when you go to each one of these places, as a result of you being a gang stalking victim, you are going to be tracked down to the foot along each and every one of these routes and your home before you leave, okay? Now, when you exit your home, you are now going to be in a very littered environment, which is the outside, because it's a very sunny day. Now, when you go along your routes, and especially if you're enduring heavy color coding, you're going to experience people wearing black and white, okay? Maybe black, white, and red, okay? But let's just talk about 2 colors, okay, per prop, and the props are each person that's propped up, okay, concerning things they're wearing and the color patterns of their cars. Just hear me out. Now, so say you're a gang stalker, and you leave the house, you go to get in your car, you start going down the street, you come to a stop sign. Right at that stop sign, people are pulling in front of you, and then while another car is pulling away from you, and one is black and white car with black trim and black tires, and the other one that's pulling away from you is black truck with white trim, okay, and black tires, okay? Or the same for each, except they're going in opposite direction. Or they might be the same or opposite, and they might be going directly in front of you at the same time, going in opposite directions. So, now, it's a sunny day, and so consider this. When you go to Google, remember, write down my descriptions and terms. When you go to Google, and you type in at Google how the eye, especially the retina, how the eye processes colors and color patterns. The rods and the cones in the retina Okay, take in the light, and there's some other mechanisms within the eye that also is responsible for this. But just do 99% of your research concerning the retina, because that's what counts the most. Okay, so now the retina is going to process not only these colors and how they're formed on the vehicle and how they're formed on the clothes. Say once you get to the coffee shop and you're sitting there drinking the coffee and you're sitting at a table right outside the coffee shop and people are constantly walking by you wearing black and white. Okay, they got black shoes on with white angular stripes on them. The other person that goes in the opposite way is wearing white, tennis shoes with a black angular stripes on them. Okay, while they're wearing black pants and white shirt, and the other one's wearing a white shirt and black pants. Okay, so while you're out in the community on a bright sunny day, as you're noticing these things in your direct field of view and in your long field of vision, which means when you're seeing these things from a distance, because as you're sitting there drinking your coffee, you're seeing the cars and trucks go by you in the same way. Hold on. Yeah, purposely propped up. This isn't things that you're seeing accidentally. These things are purposely propped up. Now, when you research how the rods and cones in the retina process colors and color patterns, Google is literally going to spit out to you many articles, and in the vast majority of these articles, you're literally going to see, when you click on them, you're going to see black and white waves, okay? You're going to see black and white dots, you're going to see black and white stripes, you're going to see color patterns like where it would be a rectangle, where it would be white in the background and angular black stripes on it, okay, in any direction. Well, what you got to understand about why this is done in gang stalking is because gang stalking is using remote neural monitoring in order to, whenever the color coding is propped up, they know about the field about how the retina processes colors and color patterns in the light setting. Because when remote neural monitoring is remotely neurally interfacing with you, and you're the visual processing area of the brain, they got to be able to see through your eyes, and see what your visual cortex is seeing by working within the functionality of the eye and how it processes colors, and how it processes patterns and colors within the visual processing areas of the brain before it gets to the visual cortex. So all this is involved in it, which is why the color coding is happening. You should also know that when you research, because you got to write all this down and meticulously research it. In baby cakes, your brain will interlock the data. At first, it will seem like I can't understand this right now, because I'm only getting this chunk of information, and my brain is looking for the understanding of it, and my brain is looking for the conclusion concerning it. Trust me, each little chunk of thing that you research, and then you step on to the next part of this and research it, and then the next part, the brain will fold all that information together and synthesize it together, and then that's where your brain comes to a holistic conclusion. And then therefore you see why it's going on. Okay? So, and by the way, the visual imagery gets transferred on a ultrasound wave that is literally going through the brain. Okay? And whatever's seen that travels on the ultrasound wave in a bidirectional stream at the speed of light goes directly back to these satanic mass murder and rape in animals. Absolutely. So, hold on a second. So here's another thing to consider considering your field of vision. When you're looking at things from a distance on a sunny day, that is your binocular field of view. When you're looking at things more in your direct field of vision, closer up, that's your monocular field of view. Field of vision. Now, when you see something with the left eye, it gets processed to the right brain. When you see something with the right eye, it gets processed to the left brain. Now, when you are a gang stalking victim, what these 6 satanic whores will do is, if you go to a bus stop, and I've already caught this on several dates. Oh, you wouldn't believe what I've caught on video. It's just astronomical and indisputable. Completely indisputable. Black and white in your face indisputable. Oh, absolutely. So check this out. Now, say if you're sitting at a bus stop And the bus stop happens to be directly across the street from a condo. And the seat that you always sit at this bus stop is directly across the street from the driveway that goes up into the parking lot of this condo. And so then, therefore, you're not only seeing the driveway, but then as you continue to look, you're seeing the cars that are parked on the left and right side of you in the parking lot that the driveway goes into. So therefore, then, as you're facing the driveway and then you continue to look up, you're seeing the cars parked there on the right side and the left side, and you're also seeing cars go up the driveway, and the driveway goes between both left and right. So that goes in the middle. So when you're sitting at the bus stop and you see with your left eye, as you're facing the driveway, a black and white truck, and then right behind it, and then right behind it, parked next to it, but on the other side of the truck, is another car where part of that car is sticking up so you can see a portion of its roof. And then right behind that car, a portion of the front end of that car will be seen, okay, as well, and you'll see the partial color of what you're able to see from that car in a stacking type way. So first you see the black and white truck, okay, and then you see the top of the front of the car, the part that's right above your head, okay, so you see its color, and then right next to that car, you'll see the front hood of the car that's parked right next to it, so then you'll see part of the color of that one. So it's kind of like a stacking observation, where you're seeing the black and white one, then you're seeing a portion of the one that's right next to it and its color, and then right after that, you see a portion of the other car, because it's propped up in a way to where you see these stacks of colors. And they're positioned this way purposely, intentionally. Now that's with the left eye. So then all that color coding seen in a holistic field of view, meaning that you're seeing all the colors. The truck that's directly there, and then the top part of the truck, the car that's parked right next to it, and then the front hood part of the car that's right next to that one, because they're overlapping. Okay, so you see the portions of the other cars as well while you're processing the black and white. That's with the left eye. That goes to the right hemisphere. Now, on the right side, you'll see a red car, and then behind it will be a white or a silver one. Okay, that's got black trim, and then behind that you might see either a black and white one or maybe a blue or a black. So that's the right eye, seen with the right eye, transferred to the left hemisphere. Now that's your binocular field of view. Then while you're sitting at the bus stop, you notice that the cars that are parked on the road, and the road is right on the other side of the driveway that leads up into the condo. So basically, when you go into the driveway of this condo, you pull off the road, you cross the sidewalk, then you go up, and then you're in the parking lot. Now, right on the other side of that sidewalk is the curb, and then there's the road, and then there's an area on the road right in front of the same condo that cars can park on the street. So then what's propped up there is the opposite of what's propped up in the parking lot. Now that would be done for your monocular immediate field of view. Okay? Hold on. Now, so then those cars that are parked to the left and the right, and the driveway is in the middle, are a red car with a black one in front of it. And then on the right side of the driveway is a black car with black and white. Another black and white one behind it. Now, that's your monocular field of view. So, now, you're going to understand this in a second. So, consider this. If you went to extensively research this at Google and YouTube, I believe it's from the retina down. So, if you were to draw an eye on a piece of paper, black and white piece of paper, and you draw an eye on a black and white piece of paper, and then you draw the pupil in the middle of it, what you then want to do is go in the middle of that retina and draw a line straight across from the corner of the eye to the other corner of the eye, and do the same thing with the right eye. Now, so then when you do this, you're going to see a line right in the middle of both eyes, stretching from each corner of each eye. And then what you want to do is you want to say to yourself, what gets transferred, okay, in your field of view, in the monocular field of vision, which is close up by you, from the mid-eye down, and does the binocular field of view, where the cars and trucks were parked way up in the parking lot, from mid-eye up. because your monocular field of view is directly in front of you, so therefore you're going to probably distinguish it more and process it visually from the retina down, the mid-eye of the retina down, and then the faraway view would be more than likely from retina mid-eye up. Yet though each information that you're seeing, the right eye is being processed to the left hemisphere, and then what you're seeing on the left side that's going to the right hemisphere, the opposite is propped up for the right eye to see. This is what's going on in gang stalking. Now, the purpose of this concerning my, and I admit right now that I have not done extensive research into this, but I absolutely know what's happening. Okay? So let me show you something really fast, because this video card might start a new video once it reaches 33 minutes and 9 seconds. Let's see if that occurs, because I'm literally getting ready to I'm booting up another phone right now to show you a picture. I should have done this a little bit earlier. Okay? So there are, right now, I have in both eyes biofilm light crystal ocular islands implants. They were non-consensually put in my eye. I have no memory whatsoever how they got there. I've only had surgery in my entire life once. Okay, and that surgery was done under anesthetics when I had some wisdom teeth pulled back in 1984. So, in other words, how the hell did they get in my eyes? I'm getting ready to show them to you. Okay, so hold on a second. Okay, now on many dates when I've been hit with direct energy weapons and electromagnetic weapons, which is also an additional power source for the light crystals that are embedded within the eyes at the nano-size scale, located about a centimeter apart, evenly arrayed in rows and columns over the entire biofilm. I've noticed on many dates when I experienced directed energy weapons attacks, like let me show you this one right here. Now this is a very, very small, itty-bitty example of this, but you'll notice that the areas here are lit up from mid-eye down. You notice this? Mid-eye down? But let me show you the main one I was... oh, wait, hold on. Let me show you the main one that I wanted to show you. Oops, hold on. Let me show you the main ones that... Oh, dang it. Sorry, pressed on the wrong thing. Let me show you the main one that I want to show you first. Now, first, let me show you here. You can obviously see that ultrasound. This was just picked up yesterday, by the way. Okay? Let me show you the date of it real fast. From my ultrasound detector at. Okay? Oh, no, actually, that's from April 23rd. Sorry about that, folks. I got a different SD card in here. But actually, there was a readout taken yesterday that was just as bad as that. No joke. No joke. That's why I said that's from yesterday. But I forgot. I switched the memory cards. Okay, hold on. All right, let's see if I can get to this. Because all right, no, just bear with me. Albums... SD card. I pressed the wrong thing. Actually, this is probably it right here from yesterday. So let me just see here. Nope. Alright, so anyways, I apologize for the confusion. So I gotta hurry up and show it to you just in case a second video starts. Okay, so here's one picture of them right here. Okay, those two white vertical lines, those are the smart light crystal dots lit up from the absorption of direct energy weapons. And there's electromagnetic weapon boil bumps on my eyes, so that's proof right there. Also, bring that YouTube video up and watch it, because it exposes some of the features and functions of these islands implants. Now, hold on, we're approaching the 33-minute, 9-second mark. Let's see if a new video starts. Probably will. Okay, so right now it doesn't look like it did. So, now, I want you to understand something, because that's what it usually does. Now, let's take a look at this one right here. Bear with me a second. Now, when you look at this one, this is another date that they... See, when they hit me in the face and the head and the temples and the brain with electromagnetic weapons, what that does is it literally boils the area of the body that you're being hit with. So if they hit you in the brain with direct energy weapons, your brain fluid is going to boil, okay? If they hit you in the temples and the face as well, or separately, the tissue and the water and the surrounding tissues will get so hot it will boil, which is why you've seen boil bumps on my eyes a few minutes ago. Now, when that occurs, that pushes the back part of these biofilm like crystal ocular islands implants out, which are transparent, making them partially visible, at least concerning their outline. And a lot of times they will also light up the light crystals within them. But what do you notice about this one? Let me minimize it so you can actually see it. This is a tweet put on Twitter back in July of 2021. In fact, that was just put on Twitter a year and 6 days ago. Okay? right? So take a snap screenshot of that and then zoom in on it, baby cakes. Oh, absolutely. Now, so when you get hit with electromagnetic weapons in the temples, in the cheeks, in the eyebrows, and other things that are also processing, like ultrasound, the energy from electromagnetic weapons and direct energy weapons, that energy flow gets absorbed in this tissue of the affected area. And then the energy of it travels around in that area, okay, which can also be absorbed in the optical nerve. Okay, it can be absorbed in all the tissues of the eye and surrounding eyes. So it will not only create boil bubbles and boil sheets on the surface of the eyes, which then pushes the back part of the biofilm light crystal ocular eye lens implants out, making at least their outline transparently visible. Because you got to remember that the eye lens themselves, they rest on the eyes. They're literally sewn into the eyes, more than likely through smart light crystal threads or smart light crystal hooks. Okay, and literally, no exaggeration, literally. And so when you look at this picture, now I just showed you this picture concerning the original integrity of it through a tweet. So take a snap screenshot of that. So let me zoom in on a little bit to show you something here that's extremely relevant. Do you notice how the outline is a little bit above mid-eye down? Do you notice that? Mid-eye down. Mid-eye down. This was a day, if memory serves me correctly, that I stayed to myself at a wooded area. Okay? And there's many features and functions of these specific type of biofilm light crystal ocular lens implants. They literally make my eyes a walking video camera. High definition. Literally. That means that the wild animals who are interfacing with them can see through my eyes at all times, and it also means that they can transmit visual images to them. They then get transferred to the optical nerve, to the visual processing area of the brain, and then is seen in the visual cortex. Your visual cortex is what you see things with, which is how you're seeing what I'm showing you. And so when you're by yourself and they want to then be able to see what you're doing in your immediate field of view. And if memory serves me correctly concerning my educated knowledge up to this date, is that your direct field of view, which is your monocular vision, would be dedicated to what? Mid-eye down. So what they do then, usually on these types of dates, is they'll hit the face and the temples. Okay. You should also know that it's widely exposed that remote neural monitoring will engage in memory mapping and memory stimulation while simultaneously using voice to skull with voice morphing. Is that why they're hitting the temple of victims? Because in order to transfer a visual imagery, see, when they do memory mapping with remote neural monitoring, they literally record what memories are able to be viewed on their monitor taken from the victim. Your memories in the visual processing areas of the brain are located right in the brain behind the temples, the side of your heads. Okay, I mostly get hit when I get hit with direct energy weapons at about 6 or 7 different spots. Okay, and they are, okay, right and left temple, right and left back base cranium, on the back of the head of the left where I got a pea-sized bump at, okay, on the top of the head to the right and left, and on the very top of the head, okay, and around the eyebrows. Now, these are all areas dedicated to what? Processing auditorial information, memories, and visual processing. Now, when you research remote neural monitoring and memory mapping and memory stimulation, okay, when you research remote neural monitoring and how voice to skull is also used on gang stalking victims, including the fact that they will stimulate a visual memory, forcing the visual cortex to see it, while you are then mocked about it through voice to skull. Okay? Well, the temples are what? Memories and auditorial. Voice to skull is auditorial acoustic weaponry. And that would be done for visual and auditory brain entrainment. Okay? We are literally dealing with the most demonic horrors that have ever walked this planet. They're sadistic, criminally insane, vile animals. Absolutely. And you wouldn't believe what else they're doing. So do you notice this, though? That the outline only shows from mid-eye down. Now, if there's... I'm going to interject this statement, too, for you to pay attention very closely to. there are certain, I've been told through online platforms, just through one actually, that there may be some type of health malady that can be created, that can manifest as a result of you smoking, to where it will make a portion of your eyes look glassy like this. Well, let me tell you something right now. That particular health malady, bear with me 1 second, that particular health malady would not produce electromagnetic weapon boil bumps on your eyes. And anybody with 2 fucking brain cells can see these are biofilm ocular eye lens implants. And here's another thing for you to witness as well. You see this vertical line here? The reason why it looks like a line is because the energy from the electromagnetic weapons attacks that caused the boil bumps, because they were literally cooking me alive, and the water in my face and surrounding tissue and my eyes had nowhere to go to. It had nowhere to escape because the attacks were continuous. That caused the eye fluid and water to boil. This attack came from an 18-hour torture episode that began at a wooded area and then continued at a Vons grocery store in La Jolla on June 3rd, the night of June 2nd and 3rd, 2020. Make no mistake about it. Now, consider this. What you see here, when you see these little lines, if you can look very closely, you're going to be able to see some round, kind of like some round little circles there. These little light crystals are embedded. They're transparent light crystals. They're embedded in the biofilm itself. All of it's transparent. But when they hit you in the face and head for 18 consecutive hours, which cause the electromagnetic weapon boil bumps, the energy from the directed energy weapons causes several things. Magnetophosphorine, Google that to gang stalking, and direct energy weapons, electromagnetic weapons, but the energy will also stay in the surrounding tissue. And since the eyes and eyebrows and forehead and temple are being attacked, the energy will flow within the electrical systems of the eye structure and its features and functions, including the optical nerve. Well, since these are light crystals, and that makes them then a electrical chemical process, it absorbs the energy and it lit them up. Okay? Now, the reason why you see a white line is because these little nano dot light crystals are so close together, only about a centimeter apart, if that, got lit up, and so it appears as a straight line because there's so many of them and so close together. Okay? Anybody with 2 fucking brain cells can see this is biofilm. I mean, look at the shape right here. You can see it goes across the eye and then bends down onto the white part of the eye. Anybody with 2 fucking brain cells can see this. And here's one of the toppers concerning this. Check this out. Let me show you something. Bear with me, baby cakes. Bear with me, baby cakes and munchkin butts. Now, let's go back over to this right here. This is how they look when you shine a black UV light on them. They turn turquoise. So when you go to Google and extensively research at Google, the title of this book, Brain Implants and Messages, Nanomachines and the Creation of False Memories, written by Dr. Hildegard Staninger. By the way, that's my eye. So the title of the book is Brain Implants and Messages, Nanomachines and the Creation of False Memories, by Dr. Hildegard Staninger. Now, I'll spell her name out, even though you can still find the book through Google and Amazon just by typing in its title. Her name is spelled Hildegarde, and then her last name is Staninger with an I. Okay? Now, these are literally showcased in that book. She's also on the internet and has got many interviews online with her and Melinda Kidder from Colombian Investigations that show them discuss how they have helped many gang stalking victims, and many gang stalking victims are reporting having these in their eyes. Now, this was just taken a few days ago. Let me show you the details of it. It was just taken on July 13th, 2022 at this very spot at 8:50 p.m. I had to wait until it got dark out and then shine the black UV light I got from Amazon on them. So there's your purple hue that's discussed in the YouTube video, in the prior, that you've seen in the prior photo I showed you. Okay? Bring that YouTube video up. These are discussed in it, and many of their features and functions, and the fact that the retina will turn turquoise when you shine a black UV light on them. That is in that video, and the book is discussed in the video, which also shows them saying the same thing about it being discussed in the book. Okay? So, what you're seeing right here, though, is because they were literally hitting me in the face as, I was making this video a few nights ago, the 13th of July. Today's the 16th. Just three nights ago. I waited until dark, and I got out my black UV light, and I shined them on my eyes as I was making a photo, and then took photo of, I believe it was photo. Yeah, it was a video, and then I took photos from the video. Now, they were literally hitting me in the face, face and head, nonstop all day. Okay? So, the energy got absorbed in the face and the surrounding tissue and in the eyes. Now, when you're making a video, what you got to understand about video cameras is that when you're making a video camera, while you're in an environment where there's an electromagnetic net and or field, okay, or any type of electromagnetic propagation being directed directly on you and the spot that they're directing it on, what's happening is that it's got to do, I think, somehow with the electromagnetic induction of the workings of a camera. Because you got to remember, a lot of that is light itself. Okay? So it takes its own type of inductance. Okay? So when the video is being made and the light of the video is interfacing with the electromagnetic field that is on the victim and the area of the body that the victim is making a picture of, sometimes the electromagnetic field will distort the picture. Okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, what you're seeing right here is that these are some of the biofilm light crystal threads and or hooks that hold these into place on the eyelid, on the edge of the eyelid. Now, in the video, it appears that they're outside of the eyelid because the electromagnetic field they were propagating on my face as I was making the video distorted the video. And there's many other victims of this crime who's also got videos where the pictures from them have been distorted in extremely similar ways. In fact, pretty much in the same exact identical ways, pertaining to like things that they were taking photos or videos of as an electromagnetic field was in their direct physical presence. Okay? And what that does is the energy from the electromagnetic field or electromagnetic net, or if it's just a beam, okay, will distort the picture or photo, because you got to remember how a camera works. It's depending on a certain measure of inductance and light at the same time. So that's energy. Okay? So these right here, it appears on the picture. I can't even, to be totally honest with you, I can't tell if these are just capturing them because they're lit up. You can't see it with the naked eye, but when you shine a black UV light on them, when an electromagnetic field is in your presence, the camera will pick it up. Okay? Because you got to remember, the camera is light too. Okay? It's just the way, I don't have any better terminology to describe this with, but I guarantee you an expert would be able to describe this to you concerning how it's specifically done. Okay? And you should also notate this right here in the retina. There's an extreme likelihood that there is a prosthetic retina implant inside the retina, because of what I've captured on many other videos, okay, with and without the black UV light on them, okay? Now, this is extreme torture right here, and this is extreme human rights abuses pertaining to the non-consensual surgery that put these in my eyes, and there's an extreme likelihood that there's also smart light crystals in the surrounding tissue. It could be on the eyelid, outside and inside, as well as the surrounding tissue around the eyes, and maybe even going up into the nose, and maybe even around the eyebrows, and maybe even some on the forehead. Because you got to remember, when they're transferring visual imagery to these, it's got to have a starting point, okay? And I'm just going to leave that statement there, but to kind of tie it off a little bit better in reference to my description, is that from what I've endured, like 85% of my eyebrows are gone, and 90% of my eyelashes are gone. That's because radiation will cause your hair to fall out. Okay? And I get extreme attacks. I feel extreme energy flowing from my ears to the nose and through the cheeks as it travels along these areas, and then around by the temples, and then across the eyebrows, and then back to the ear, and then it's just a continuous loop in the same directions. Okay? Which is why an additional reason why I've lost the eyebrows. Now this right here, check this out. Let me bring up a better picture of it. Hold on a minute, baby cakes and munchkin buds. Hold on, babies. Now I want you to look at this. If you look at this, let me shut up something over here so I can get a little bit better light. Okay. Now what you want to do is take a snap screenshot of this. Let me try and let it zoom in on. That's actually not the best picture, but this one will do for the first second here. Okay. Let me bring up a better picture of this. Now these pictures are from a video. Bear with me, baby cakes and munchkin buds. Let's try this one. That's a good one. So, now this is not the best one that you will see of this, but I'm showing you what I can until I can bring up the better picture for you to see it. Now, first thing you want to notate is this right here. Okay, you'll be able to see it better. That's the first thing you want to notate. You'll be able to see it better as I progress through these photos. Okay. There we go. That's what you want to see right there. Okay. Now you want to look at that very closely. Take a snap screenshot of it. You see that straight line right there? And then you see one go across? That's a surgical scar. That was discovered when? On July 9th, 2022 at this very fucking spot. I shaved the back of my head from the neck up to the lower back base cranium and all around behind my ears. And discovered this, and then made a video. Look at the discoloration directly right here. This is right below the lower left back base cranium, right below it. Now the lower left and right back base cranium and other parts above it are dedicated to what? Visual processing. I ever get a hold of these filthy whores that put this shit in me, I will fucking never let you go. I will legally hunt you for the rest of your whore-ass life. Make no mistake about it. Ever. Now, you can't really see it too well in this particular one unless you look very close. This right here is another main area where the ears are affected, which is why I shaved off. Plus, you're seeing probably a bunch of other small surgical incisions as well. This is directly right below the lower left cranium, where I get massively attacked at every day. While I'm being attacked in the lower left base cranium, the left ear is also massively attacked, as well as the left nostril and the left temple. And what is all that directly intimately connected to? Auditory processing, you know. You should also know ultrasound is used for the sake of remote neural monitoring pertaining to it in training the brain to its pre-calibrated, fluctuating decibels and frequencies that go through the brain every second of every minute of every hour of every day. But it also acts as a carrier wave for the visual things you see and the visual things that they send for you to see. Hold on. Including what's visually sent for you to see on the iLens implants. Oh, absolutely. Watch that video. I'll bring the link up again in a second. Okay. And then the ears, if you got a non-consensual cochlear ear implant in you or any other type of audio implant anywhere within your ear mechanism, well, baby cakes, what's the two main things going on in gang stalking? Voice to skull, which ultrasound is also an identified acoustic, conduit for. Okay, absolutely, munchkin butts and baby cakes. So let me just do something here because I had to stretch my leg. Oh boy. Now let's move forward. Check it out. Now, if you look very closely here, you're gonna see this big bump and discoloration right here. They do this to me every day. They don't give a shit. They're fucking wild animals. Absolutely. And you'll probably notice some other little small scar things going on here concerning the ear. And look at that massive discoloration, because energy causes it literally kills muscle matter and cellular matter, and it can even absolutely intentionally induce cancer, which is one of the widely reported things that they're after as well. This right here is a split where they cooked my ears so bad on the day of 0708 and 0709 2022, they hit my ears so fucking bad it was burning to an extreme all day. Massive thermoelastic heating on the inside, while the outside part of the root of the canal completely shut up. While I was being massively targeted in the cranium. So what I did was, because I had prior plans on doing it anyways, because I had just bought some cheap razors, shaving razors, at the grocery store out here in La Jolla. The goal was to buy the razors in order to shave the back part of my head on both sides, all across from ear to ear, and the area of the hair behind the ears, so I could put some better shielding protection up for it. And then I said to myself, after it took an hour and a half for me to shave everything, meticulously shave everything, and it was hurting like a bitch. It was hurting like a bitch. I said, well, fuck this. I'm going to take a video, too, to see if there's any effects of anything that they've done to my ears or the back of my head. Well, you're look at that massive discolorization. Right there. Okay? And if you're looking very closely, you're going to see other incision marks as well. Okay? In fact, there's a great likelihood that this whole area up in here, okay, because I didn't shave any further up, there's a great likelihood that the incision actually is probably further up there and came all the way around here. Now, let me tell you something right now about the human being and the human being mind. And this is a thermoelastic heating boil bump that blistered open. They hit me so bad. I've endured this on over 8,000 occasions at least since 2018. At over 45 different wooded areas on the same property. And along my routes. Because now they're hitting me along my routes too. Bus stops, bus routes, coffee shops, inside and outside of businesses, even fucking walking routes. No joke. Okay? So this right here, just this right here alone is extreme human rights abuses. If I was able to sue these filthy, satanic, mass murdering bitches in court just over this one issue right here, it would make me a multi-millionaire overnight. It would enable me to buy a home, several cars, okay? And I would be set for life. Instead, I'm forced to live in homelessness that this crime purposely created so that they could revolve specific types of entrainment around it. And trust me, I know I haven't, discussed that in detail, but if I did, you totally understand it. And I will. I've already made a few videos concerning it, but over time, when I make upcoming videos, you'll be able to understand it. You're gonna be extremely pissed if you're a decent person. This right here is enough to make you pissed off like a mother. So go to Google and research. And what you need to understand here is that when I showed you this picture up here, pay very close attention. And this is one picture of many I have seen on many, many, many dates. Lights, red and blue, and white lights coming directly out of the retina, strongly suggesting a prosthetic retina implant that goes right in the middle of the eye. Okay? Now, when you go to Google and you research a Google prosthetic retina implants, what else do you think you might notice? Well, you're going to absolutely notice the fact that research the Utah electrode array pertaining to either bionic or prosthetic eye implants. Okay? They are notated online to be located and put on the brain, directly at the back of the brain on the left. That's where I got a pea-sized bump at on the back of my head. Okay? And the visual processing area of the brain, it's widely reported that this crime is putting implants in the very back base of the head of many victims. I got audio files and stuff to prove it. From video exposures, absolutely. So let me go back and show you that one particular. Bear with me a second. Let me go back and show you that one particular snap screenshot, munchkin butts. You want to absolutely watch this video. Okay, let the YouTube link show up. Alright, hold on. Okay. Now, if I was to zoom in on this, what do you think you're seeing right here? Learning disabled woman tortured in Dearborn, Michigan. Go to freep.com/opinion blog. That stood for the Detroit Free Press. Because the Detroit Free Press and the Detroit News are two separate papers that cover Detroit and the surrounding suburbs, Dearborn, Michigan. And so when I was being heavily tortured at apartments, and then when they made me homeless in Michigan, I went and stayed at the wooded area directly across the street from U of M, Dearborn, Michigan, and right next door to it is Henry Ford Community College. I was gang stalked at both places every time I went there. once the community-based gang stalking started in late 2002 and was in full-blown criminal expedition by mid-2003. Okay? So I knew that I could maybe start employing certain techniques and tactics in order to prove that the police were involved in the crime because they weren't doing a damn thing to help me. In fact, they were filing falsified police reports. Oh, absolutely. And much more. Not just the Dearborn Police either. Taylor, Michigan Police, and oh my God, you would not believe what I endured in Michigan. Well, so I didn't discover gang stalking by its name online until June 9th, 2009. By that date, I had already created at least 25 separate email accounts with thousands of emails in them, in the inbox, draft, and sent emails of each email account, showing me trying to type out a timeline that was every email, from drafts to sent to inbox to outbox. Every single email I made in 4 states have been compromised by these same 6 satanic rats, posting things in them, pretending to be me writing them, because I think at the end of the day, they were probably going to try and make it look like I wrote them, so they could then turn around and say, well, look what she's saying she did, and look what she's saying today, so they can call you mentally ill. Google that to gang stalking. That's why I was trying to create so many different email accounts to shake them off my tail. This was before I knew about gang stalking, so therefore then I didn't know they were just going to stalk me from email to email to email, and even after I seen they were stalking me from email account to email account, I still kept trying to shake them off me. Now, none of these emails show me mention gang or gang stalking or organized stalking once. Thousands of emails, not once, until June 9, 2009, which I can also prove that was the day I discovered gang stalking by its name. Yet, I'm making fucking t-shirts and sweatshirts, okay, that state on it. Well, what do you see that state on it? Learning disabled woman tortured in Dearborn, Michigan, made in 2008. This evidence you see concerning the fucking eyes was caught on June 2nd and 3rd. Oh, well, it was caught on June 3rd, but the torture episode began the night before and segued throughout the night and the next morning until early afternoon the next day. Okay? These are photos from a live Periscope broadcast. Absolutely. June 3rd, 2020. The fucking t-shirt was made in 2008, 3,000 miles away. The torture was so bad in Michigan, I could barely talk. And I'm here today to tell you right now, my fellow American citizens, I will never stop and never give up on exposing the University of Michigan in Dearborn, Michigan, Henry Ford Community College, the Dearborn Police, and many others who absolutely, completely aided and abetted the vile, wild horrors in Michigan responsible for this, because I was enduring the same thing in Michigan. These islands and plants were in my eyes long before 2003. Oh, absolutely. I know for a fact, because of what I was enduring through them. While not knowing they were there, while not having a name for anything that I was enduring at all, while being tortured, while being starved to death, while being sexually human trafficked, while my monthly checks were being robbed of me, while my insurance was being exploited of me, while I was forced to sleep in 30-degree below weather for years, while they were literally starving me to death, while I was in a nonstop traumatic brain injury effect, while I was being mocked, harassed, sexually human trafficked, tortured, okay, made to feel like an outcast by vile, wild animals who were doing it all to me. So do you really think I'm going to give up on these 6 satanic bitches? This fucking crime caused me to lose my ability to make children. Do you really think I'm going to give up on these wild whores? So when you research and when you see, because I'm going to be posting some pretty good information online. I've already got good information on my blog, and my blog is located. Okay, hold on. Let me put my glasses back on. My blog is located. Where is my? Oh, here they are. My blog is located on the profile. Oh, hold on. Of this Twitter account right here. Okay. Actually, let me see if I can just, because this particular phone I'm pointing to is not in service contract, but let me see how much of my Twitter account will come out. Now, I'm warning you right now. The blog that's on the profile of it, they've mutilated the hell out of it. They've made sentences and paragraphs and sentences within paragraphs and spelling. They have made them almost incomprehensible to understand pertaining to what was being originally presented. They did that for many motives, and I don't feel like talking about it right now. So this right here is my Twitter account. So just go to Google, okay, Neo Exposing Truth. But the handle, in order to get to Neo Exposing Truth, is at HIGGINSGGGG. I'll reiterate that. My Twitter account handle is at the at symbol on your keyboard, at HIGGINSGGGG. Neo Exposing Truth. Takes you 2 minutes to open up a Twitter account, then go to the Twitter search box and you'll find it. And you can Google that too, and you'll see a lot of my older tweets. The blog's on the profile. Now, they have massively manipulated that blog and cut it up and messed it up pertaining to the sentence. They've taken parts of sentences out. They've rearranged spelling. They've rearranged words into sentences that don't belong there from other sentences. They've taken huge sections of paragraphs out. Okay, and it's not for many reasons, and I don't feel like going into the long explanation concerning that. Okay? In fact, that's actually another reason why they do it. They want you talking about what they do. That assists in remote neural monitoring identification of the technique that's employed and the description of it, and then it acts as an identifier. And that gets into a little bit more sophisticated stuff that I do not have time or feel inclined to talk about right now, because you got to remember, I've been literally hit in the stomach and the abdomens like you would not believe, just in the past 72 hours, including while I'm sleeping. Okay, so when you're talking, that causes your stomach muscles to contract and extract, and that aggravates the cramps and the shooting pains that I'm feeling in my stomach, and the aching of the abdomen, which is right around the stomach, that they're targeting. So it's bad enough I've talked for over an hour. So my fellow American citizens, I want you to think about what I'm saying. These vile whores that are doing this to me, they're sitting right now in a comfortable condo and or a home, okay, or in an RV somewhere. And when they get off work and their next shift comes in that targets me, these vile whores get to go home and have a family. They get to go home and have nice 4 walls surrounding them and safe security and peace. Okay, they get to have friends and families and vacations and cars. All of that was taken from me and all gang stalking victims. While I'm fucking forced to live in extreme destitution, okay, every day, that they even use as a mechanism of control, privately colluding with property owners, okay, the police and their lying organized crime harasses, staging probable cause and arresting me and ticketing me for being homeless, but will not investigate what made me homeless or any part of the gang stalking that I endure and have and will, because they just don't give a fuck. They don't care at all. Now, when you research the internet, and tens of thousands of Americans right now are seeing they're being sadistically, endlessly tortured in their own fucking homes, including where they work at, and even along their routes with electromagnetic weapons and directed energy weapons, do you honestly think they won't trek you to a fucking wooded area and do it to you? Because what you've seen concerning this picture, that torture episode began at a wooded area, and then segued into when I was at Vaughn's grocery store in La Jolla, where I'm massively gang stalked to and at. And we're going to see if I get banned from there. Absolutely. Because that's one of the ways they run victims out of the community. Okay? Is by banning them from every fucking place they go to depend on for whatever need. Okay? And then you got to go way, way, way out of your way to get your needs met while your health is in extreme peril. I mean, try pushing your bike up a hill from a wooded area with a 30-pound duffel bag on the handlebar with 20 to 25 pounds in a saddlebag that's on the back of the bike while you're carrying a backpack on your back, while these same 6 satanic fucks are purposely hitting your chest, your heart, okay, the lungs, the windpipe in the throat, okay, the right abdomen, the right back muscle that's dedicated to the right side. Why? Because they fucking know you're right-handed. That means then that when you go to pick up your backpack to put it on the bike, when you go to push the bike up the fucking hill, you're using all the musculatory system of your right side in your torso and in your chest, the muscle in your right side of your neck, in the right shoulder, the right elbow, the right arm. They'll even target the fucking right ankle and the top of the right foot in order to weaken the bones. Why? Because when you're going uphill, just try pushing a bike uphill and pay very close attention to the bones that you're using in your foot. They target the toes, the top foot bones on the top of the foot, the ankles, the knees. All these areas are dedicated to what? Pushing your bike up a hill, picking things up to put them on the bike, putting the bike on the bus, walking the bike up hills to get to the bus stop. So while you're in this massive extreme, where your body is put under massive extreme, okay, massive extreme abuse, the body is literally processing the radiation. Okay, it's with closed up lungs because they're hitting the windpipe and the lungs and the chest, while they're affecting the heart and the heart muscle and the heart arteries, while they're intentionally also simultaneously targeting the chest muscles, the back muscles behind the back muscles that get strained when you push and carry things. They're specifically purposely targeting these areas. Why? Because they know these are parts of the body that's being used to pick shit up and put it on your bike, to push the bike up the hill, to push the bike up the hills on sidewalks that lead to the bus stop. They know it's the same part of the body that's dedicated to lifting your bike up and putting it on the bus. It's the same part of the body that's dedicated to lifting the bike rack back up on the bus, which always weighs 20, 30, 40 pounds. Okay? Always, 99% of the time. Ain't my luck, just luck, right? Okay? Research bus transportation services in gang stalking. What do you think the gang of gang stalking is? Where every little demonic bitch brought on board in this crime against the victim plays their dedicated role pertaining to what role they're told to play. Because while the body is processing all this radiation, while the organs are affected from the initial hit and the saturation of the radiation that's still processing through the body, as the muscles are intentionally purposely attacked, okay, as the windpipe cuts off the oxygen in order to reoxygenate the blood while you are in these extreme health effects, they will literally even keep the attack going as you're walking down the fucking street by carrying this shit around in vehicles and neighbors shooting at you from their fucking homes that are between the road you're walking down. This is how fucking bad gang stalking is. No exaggeration at all. These are wild, vile, mass murdering, human trafficking, gang raping whores. They're here to kill you. Now, there is no way when you sit back, and if you were to sit back and talk to a physical therapist, a really good physical therapist, and you said, "Dear Mr. Physical Therapist, I'll pay you $200 if you sit down for 2 hours and talk to me." And then you sit down for 2 hours and talk to that physical therapist and or a doctor who's familiar with the human biology, and you said, "Can you tell me, through your educated knowledge and or research in this subject matter, what parts of the body do you think would be in most continuous play as a result of the type of work I do when I get up to pack up and then pack up my bike and then walk up a hill and then push the bike down the street with this heavy duffel bag on the right handlebar of the bike, okay, with the saddlebags on the back, with the backpack on, okay, while I'm pushing the bike with my, and the you know, because I paid attention to this shit as I'm walking up the street and even as I push the stuff up the hill, okay, I paid attention to what are the most musculatory systems of me that are in play when I'm doing these things, and they're the same exact identical to a T areas that they're fucking targeting me at. Identical to a T. Every single place they fucking target me at is dedicated to the areas of the body that is used to do my morning routine and take my bike up and off buses, up and down hills, and picking my shit up. Do you know that they'll purposely attack me at Vons right after I bought my groceries and packed them? Why? Because where do I go to after I leave Vons? Directly to the bus stop. And what do I do when I get to the bus stop? I pick my heavy bike up that's now got fucking groceries in it and put it on the bike rack. Then I gotta bend over and pick up the duffel bag and the additional bags of groceries. That's straining the back muscle. It's straining the heart on the right side because I'm right-handed. And then if they see through the islands implants that I'm switching over to the left hand, okay, they'll start targeting the left side. Okay, this is your sick bitch demonic government, including the military. That's the fucking lootly. Because you gotta understand something about these vile, wild whores. They're here to purposely, intentionally induce the most suffering out of you that then leads to your death. Purposely. Okay, think about how, if a person has a heart attack, and then after they get out of the hospital, what do you think those doctors are telling that person? Fucking go home and rest and do no work whatsoever, because that strains the heart. So why do you think they're... You know what? And here's one last thing, I'll let you go. Check this out. When you go to Google and you research extensively at Google, thought-activated computers and gang stalking, because if you're being remotely nearly monitored, which I've already proved in this video, do you think that they're just using one feature and function of remote neural monitoring and not using subvocal speech monitoring and deciphering, which means that, but not limited to, that they can literally decipher what you're internally processing through your subvocal cords about where you're going to go? So if you make a statement in a running recording tape recorder, okay, I'm getting ready to leave, and then as soon as you fucking process that, within 1 to 3 seconds, you get hit in the chest with directed energy weapons on hundreds of dates, right after saying that? Because if they're doing this through an automated system and your subvocal speech processes is being sent to them and they got that deciphered, they put it in their computer on their end, so when that thing is identically reprocessed, the automated system looks at it, reads it, and then is pre-programmed to send the attack to you in the designated area that they programmed to attack you at, the fucking chest. Why? Because when you say you're getting ready to leave, what are you getting ready to do? Push your fucking bike up a hill. Okay? This has happened on over 100 dates. I got the fucking audio files to prove it. Now, on these hundreds of audio files showing me state this, where they were fucking hitting me at, just recently, including in the back. See, they're hitting me right above the right breast on the right side. If you were to take your hand, if you're a woman or even a man, but especially a woman, if you were to take your hand and hold it out straight like this, okay? And then put your hand just like that at the very top of the right breast, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to hold that going over towards the right by your armpit. Then what you want to do is you want to take your index finger and put it on the index finger of the hand that you put across your breast, right at the top of it on the right breast, and then take your thumb and bring it towards the collarbone, okay? Going towards the armpit. That's the area of the chest that they're fucking massively hitting me at. And the same area, but from the back. Now, I have talked about this on hundreds and hundreds of audio files. And guess what? On 07/08/2022, these 6 satanic vile wild whores hit me in the same exact identical T spot from the direction of the back. That's right behind that area that's in the front. And I got hundreds of audio files saying I'm not only being hit in the chest, but I'm being hit in the back, right directly behind that area of the chest. So meaning that the hit goes through the back and then comes out the front of the chest of that area. Okay? Well, on 07/08/2022, a little bit, well, it's the 16th now, so, just a little bit over a week ago, I was sitting in an area not even 40 feet away from here, and they fucking hit me in that spot, after already identifying it on hundreds of separate dates in my tape recorder. Literally. And it was such a massive hit, it created a directed energy weapon burn blister right in that fucking spot. So on 07/09/2022, on the same day I took the picture of the back of my head that showed the surgical scar, what I did was I took my left arm and I put it underneath my right armpit, touched on my back, or I put it over it, one of the two. I felt the bump, and then I took a magic marker and I circled it, and then I fucking made a video about it. I made a video about it, and then took pictures from the video and put it in my blog. Exactly where that fucking burn hole is at, on the back of my fucking back, is where they attacked me at from the back, that then goes in through the entire chest and comes out the front. They hit me in both spots. That area from the back direction and the front area in the direction that I just told you concerning how to hold your hand at, on the very top of your right breast, okay, going over towards your armpit, and that musculatory system between that area and the collarbone. That's where they fucking hit me at. While simultaneously hit me in the fucking windpipe, in the throat, while simultaneously hitting me a little bit over to the left of the right breast, okay? And then while hitting me in the fucking mouth and the side of the throat, and all of this causes, and your windpipe, the lungs, all of this causes you to not be able to fucking breathe, to not even really be able to take air in, because they're hitting the windpipe and the diaphragm, right? While they're attacking the lungs and closing, okay, the respiratory system down, so you can't breathe in air to reoxygenate the blood, okay? And while the radiation is processing and staying in the chest, especially if they continue to attacks while you're fucking going down the street, and even when you get to the bus stop. Okay? So, and then also, 2 major attacks happened okay, on the same fucking property on 2 separate dates, months apart, that was so bad, I literally almost died. No joke. No exaggeration at all. And they picked those days on those attacks when what? I was out of water. Because when you drink water, it causes the radiation to go through the body faster, and it reoxygenates the blood. Breathing also reoxygenates the blood. They didn't want water in your system when they were going to do these attacks, and they didn't want fresh air in your lungs. Okay? That causes the radiation in those affected areas to stay there longer while they're doing continuous attacks to keep that accumulative effect on going and to even escalate it. This is your sick bitch demonic government. Absolutely. So I'm going to let you go because I got stuff to do. And hold on a second. Oop. All right. Yeah, I got to let you go because I got stuff to do. So my fellow American citizens, I meant to show you a little bit of a better picture concerning that. I believe, when I showed you my ear, okay, the part of the ear that was affected, and it showed that burn blister and the fact that it even split open. When you really take a look at, I don't know if you celebrate Thanksgiving or Easter or what have you, they're attacking my right abdomen as I speak. They have been all day. Okay? Oh, absolutely. My right and left abdomen. Okay? But check this out. Like how on Thanksgiving Day, if you've ever had turkey as a child or, teenager, adult, whatever, and wherever, have you ever seen a turkey that got over-basted or even a ham that got overcooked? You know what it will do? Because of the heat, it will split open in the middle. Okay? Because the heat on the inside of it was so intense, it had